Hey y'all. I know it's late and I didn't do my morning video, but I was tired last night. I got home, I hit that couch, I did not make it upstairs. Yes, I have a missing tooth. I'll tell you about that and whatever. It is what it is. It's gone. I ain't getting it back unless I go buy one. And I ain't got no money for one. If you don't like it, go buy me one. Anyway, excuse me. I'm at the YMCA. My daughter's having volleyball practice, and I decided to move away from the practice, from all the noise, so I can do my video before I get home, because I may not make one tonight, because I have to go home and do all of these things tonight, because my landlord's coming, and I don't want her to see my dirty drawers. No, I'm kidding. She is coming, but I'm not worried about any of that. So tonight, I wanted to touch on my disorder. I am diagnosed with bipolar disorder and ADD. I think everybody has ADD or ADHD. I ain't hyper. So, they can't label me as hyper. Because, honey, I don't get hyper. Um, so we had a class last night. And the class was called the Mental Health 101 by Miss Celeste Boykins. Very good teacher. She's funny. She interacts with all of us like we're regular people and we're all on the same level. She doesn't throw around her degrees and everything. So anyway, I have a little pamphlet. I'll start reading from that, from what they have just on bipolar disorder, and then I will tell you where I come in at and things that happen. And what I'll also touch on is sex. Okay, I'll read this. Excuse me. Bipolar disorder. What mania is. It's feeling very happy and up and much more active than usual. Depression is feeling very sad and down and much less active. Symptoms of a manic episode: feeling very up or high, feeling jumpy or wired, talk really fast about a lot of different things, agitated, irritability, or touchy, have trouble relaxing or sleeping, thinking they can do a lot of things at once and are more active than usual, do risky things like spend a lot of money or have reckless sex. We'll talk about that. The symptoms of a depressive episode is feeling very down or sad, feeling worried and empty, have trouble concentrating, forgetting things a lot, lose interest in fun activities and become less active, feel tired or slow down, have trouble sleeping, and think about death or suicide. So for the treatment, they offer medication, psychotherapy, electroconvulsive, which provides a quick shock that sometimes corrects problems in the brain. You ain't putting nothing on my head. Give me a pill, whatever you want to do, but you ain't putting nothing up to my head, honey. I do take medication for my bipolar disorder. I do not take any for depression. And I do take medication for my ADD. Now, we had to do a skit last night. I think I told y'all on this, on the last video. And I always thought that triggers were for, people who have drug and alcohol addictions and stuff, and, what would trigger them to go back. I never realized how much stuff can trigger even other people who don't deal with those type of things. Honey, we did a skit, and the skit that we did was on bipolar disorder, and because I was bipolar, I volunteered to do it. And I was in my manic stage, and I was going to see my therapist about having reckless sex. So I go in there, and this is pretend, and I go in there and I'm sitting in the office, and we're pretending, and I'm getting agitated and irritable because he's taking too long to get me into the office or whatever. So he comes into the office and he just like sits there. So I'm like, look, nigga, I ain't got time to be sitting here. I came to talk about what's going on. I'm ready to go fuck. I got niggas lined up. I got shit I gotta do. Let's get it done. So anyway, we was going on. I was talking about fucking. I'm sorry, I was talking about having sex, but I used the word fucking a lot. And when I was in my manic stages, before I learned to control it and get on my medication, that's how I was. Anyway, I was like, look, I'm about to go suck this. Nick, blah, 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 blah. I have to censor what I say because I have younger people who are watching my videos as well. And I don't ever want them to think that it's okay to be out here with a potty mouth. But please, once you see me start to curse or use words, kind of forward the video or something, or watch my videos first before you allow your children to watch, because I will get vulgar and in some videos and let you know how things really are. So anyway, make a long story short, I made the class feel very uncomfortable because I've never seen anybody go through anything like that. So in the skit, he asked me a question, and it pertained to why do I think I want to have sex all the time. So I brought up how when I was 6 years old, I was molested by a female cousin, and she used to have oral sex with me, and she used to make me have oral sex with her. I was 10, and I was raped by 2 neighborhood boys. But I never said anything because before I was raped by them 2, I guess you can call it rape. It was rape. But this person denied it. And I felt like I couldn't go back, and I will never tell anybody who this person was or bring up any of the family members, do any of that. So please don't ever ask me because I'm not going to tell you. But anyway, this person tried to rape me, lied and said that I was lying, that it wasn't true. And I don't remember my mom pursuing it or, calling the police or any of that. So I didn't trust to tell anybody anything ever again. Oh, let me go back. When I was 8, my brother was 6. My brother was 6, and I think my sister was 18. But my mom was dating this man, and her boyfriend's son molested me. He made me get drunk with another child and made us do things to each other and do things to him. There's other things that have happened. I choose not to bring up, but I was molested multiple times up until being molested or touched until I was like 14. But I became sexually active at the age of 12. I have bipolar disorder. I don't know this at the time because they usually don't diagnose people with bipolar disorder till they're 16, 17 years old. There were so many stresses in my life. My grandmother had just died, and she told me when I came on my cycle, you keep your panties up and your skirt down. Well, I thought that I was going to hurt her after she died, and she hurt me by going out here having sex. Honey, little do I know I was the one killing myself, but I didn't know that. So I became very sexually promiscuous, and I was having sex a lot. But it got worse. I mean, I had sex here and there when I was a teenager in the 9th grade. I did some things that I'm not proud of. I got pregnant in the 9th grade. But before I got pregnant, I had sex with 4 dudes in one day. I just wanted attention, and I felt like that was the only way I could have gotten attention from these men, because I'm used to men giving me attention and then sexually giving it to me. So that's what I craved for, because that's what I was used to. I won't tell you who they are either, and I still talk to them. I'm cool with them. I see them. I say hi. You know, it is. I'm not mad at them for what I did. We were all young. There was a little party going on in the house. I mean, it is what it is. But these people have families, and I won't ruin their family for something that happened 21 years ago. Anyway, as I got older, I was having sex, but once I hit my late teens and my 20s, that's when things really started going. So anyway, we'll get back into that more, maybe on another video, I'm not sure. But what happened? What was I gonna say? Oh, in my class, I played it out, and I told, that what was going on. I started crying, but I wasn't crying. Okay, so I was really crying, but I made myself cry to go with the skit. But the teacher thought that I was crying for real. She thought she was going to have therapy. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll explain it to you after. So she let me do it. Then I explained to her, I have forgiven those people. I really cried, but it was a fake cry to cry for the skit, But anywho, if you know anybody who is bipolar, you need to learn, and if you really love them, you need to learn to identify when they're going through their depression. When I was depressed, I wouldn't take a bath. My mom came to my house one time, and I wasn't working. I had my three older children went through a lot with me being undiagnosed with bipolar disorder. I had my ups. I was spending money on them, doing what they want. My niece told me, told my nephew, Nate, I had some money, and I was happy. He told Natures, don't ask me for anything while I'm upset. Wait till I'm happy, because that's when I spend the most money. She ain't lie. She told the truth. Because I'll give you anything you want if you ask me for it. If I'm, in one of my manic stages, I'm spending money like I got it and be crying because my bills ain't paid. But when I was depressed, my mom had to come to my house one time because my daughter called her crying because I wouldn't get out the bed. They were eating quick food. They always ate because I love cooking. Even if I was depressed, sometimes I would get up cooking. Sometimes I would order food or whatever. It just depends, because I know even when I'm depressed, I still know I have responsibility. So I'll find a way to make it. I'll find a way to do something so it'll make it easier for me. But I wouldn't take a shower. I wouldn't brush my teeth. I didn't want to get up and go out the house. I didn't want to go to school meetings for my kids. I didn't want to do anything. And I mean nothing. I smelled horrible, but I still wouldn't get up because I was so depressed because of the things that were going on in my life. If you have a loved one and they have bipolar disorder, please understand their sickness, understand their illness, understand the things that you can do to help them, understand what type of life they're in, understand or what position they're in their life. You can't well, somebody's upset. You can't when somebody's going through something and that stuff, sometimes they may not hear you, and sometimes maybe all they need is just for you to sit there with them, even if it's 15 minutes. And eventually, once they trust you and they start to come out of it, they'll talk to you. But it has to come from the heart. I want you to really understand what they're going through, learn what triggers them. For me, a trigger for me is men, which is kind of hard to deal with, but it's only a certain type of men. I don't like to be enclosed in a room with a man. I just don't. I don't like it. I can't be in a room by myself with a man. And another trigger is telling my story and what has happened and what has happened and how it affects me, and trying to forgive. It's like I got to forgive them over and over and over again so I can continue to have peace with myself. So At every end of my video, like I told you, my mentor asked me to give some type of something, whether it's a book I'm reading, whether it's just some type of resource, basically. So I am going to give you some resources off of this paper. Okay, so this says mental health first aid strategies based on a 5-step action plan, which is algae, to help individuals who are experiencing a mental health crisis. Assess for risk of suicidal harm. If you know anybody who, just hear me, listen non-judgmentally. That is one of the biggest things you can do for them. Give reassurance and information, encourage appropriate professional help, and encourage self-help and other support strategies. It is okay to learn something just because you don't deal with it. And a couple of resources are NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. That's NAMIMD.org. Or you have Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, DBSA. DBSalliance.org. And On Our Own of Maryland. It's onourownmd.org. So if you know anybody who needs help, if you need help, please go and get it. And the very last thing what I would do, and I would say is, hello, my name is Nicole, and I am bipolar. And I'm no different than anybody else.